Hello, thank you for taking time to view this series of tutorial videos developed by 3D Classworks. This is the second part of a series of tutorials focusing on photorealistic rendering in SolidWorks. The image that you see on screen is a completed product rendered using the PhotoWorks add-in found inside SolidWorks. And in this lesson, we will be touching on how to insert image files as decals and background images to make your 3D models look more compelling during the rendering process. What you see on screen is the image that you have done in the previous video. In the previous video, we have covered how to insert different materials to the bodies and faces of this space shuttle model. And in your training files, you should be able to see some image files, such as the SolidWorks logo saved as a TIFF image, the 3D Classworks logo saved as a JPEG image. There's a picture of a Singapore flag saved as a bitmap image, and there is also some text saved as a bitmap image as well. And you should also be able to find a JPEG image called Earth, okay, with a picture of Earth taken from space. So let's see how we can insert these images as decals. To insert a decal, all we need to do is go to the Office Products tab found in your Command Manager and look for this command called New Decal. And as you activate this command, in your Property Manager, you should see a field asking you to browse for the image file that you're looking for. So I just click on Browse, select maybe the 3D Classworks logo, and hit Open. Once you have selected your image, you should be able to see a preview of this decal in the Decal Preview window. The next step, what we need to do is to map this decal onto our 3D model. So to map this image, click on this tab called Mapping that you see at the top of the screen. And in this selection field, activate it and select the back face of the tail of the space shuttle. And once you have done that, you should be able to see your image file being displayed on the surface that you have selected. And of course, you're able to drag these different drag handles to position this decal. So I'm going to position at this corner here. And if you like to resize the decal, you can always pick on the drag handles found at the corner of this image to resize it. And if you know exact dimensions of these decals, you can always go to this number fields found on the Property Manager to key in exact dimensions. So once you're happy with the preview, just hit OK. And the decal has been inserted into your SolidWorks model. So let's do a sample render to see how this image looks like. Many times during the rendering process, you may only want to render a small portion of your 3D model to save on computing time. So we do have this command called Render to Area to select a certain area that you want to render. So let's see how it works. So I just activate this command and maybe get the software to render this area around the tail region of the space shuttle. And there you go. You should see the 3D Classworks logo. It blends in very well with the tail of the space shuttle. Okay, let's go on next to insert the SolidWorks logo across these two faces on the fuselage of the space shuttle. So to insert a new decal, once again, select New Decal. Go and browse for your new file. This time round, I would like to select the SolidWorks logo TIFF file and hit Open. Go to Mapping and select this face. Now, you will notice that as I've selected this face, the SolidWorks logo is only confined within the boundary of this face. So what do I do if I like to place this decal over two different surfaces, such as this face and the face below here. All we need to do is go back to the property manager, activate the selection field here, and select the bottom face as well. Now what you have done is, I have created an extra area for this decal to spill over. And of course, if you take a look at the SolidWorks logo, you'll notice that it is in the wrong orientation. So just browse down toward in the property manager, and you should be able to see this field called angle. And you can just rotate and reposition this decal in its right orientation. Okay, so it's in the right orientation now. So just drag on the corner handles to resize it. Okay, maybe I'll just position it slightly towards the back, somewhere here. So once you're happy with this decal, just hit OK. And there you go, the SolidWorks decal has been inserted. Next, we will insert a string of text on this bottom face of the fuselage. So for this string of text, I've actually created this text in PowerPoint and did a screen capture and saved it as a bitmap file. You can use PowerPoint, or you can even use free tools such as Microsoft Paint to create these different text images. So sometimes if you need to insert text, these are some of the ways that you can go around achieving the same result. So let's insert this decal into our model. So we click on New Decal, browse for the file that we have. Okay, so this one is called Text Graphics. Hit Open, and I would like to map it at this bottom face here. And of course, change the angle to reposition it. So let's rotate this 270 degrees. Okay, and let's position it at this corner here. And if you like to enlarge the size of the text, just drag on the corners. And there you go. Many times you may not be able to get the results you want. Okay, just play around with these different options. Okay, such as mapping type. Okay, you are able to play between spherical mapping and cylindrical mapping, and also this mapping type that we have done here called the projection mapping. Yeah, so spend some time to play around with these settings. The more you play with it, the more comfortable you will be with the Photoworks interface. Now let's hit OK, and there you go. Our decals have been created. Now, how about inserting of a background image? So to insert a background image, we will have to play around with the background scene of this part interface that we have here. So to modify the scene, all we need to do is look for this scene button found in the Office Products tab in the Command Manager. So just click on Scene. And if I would like to change the background image, go to this tab called the Back Foreground. And under Background, select Image and select Scaled Image. Once all these options are selected, all we need to do is let's browse for that file that we want to put as the background image. So for this case, we are in the training folders. You should be able to find this file called earth.jpg. Select it, apply, and there you go. You should be able to see the screenshot of Earth taken from space, okay, as a background image. So now let's do a render to see how this image will look like. And as the image is being rendered, you should see the decals are trying to blend in nicely with the materials that you have selected. And you can see the 3D model blending in with the background image. And of course, at this time, you will see a nice reflection of the space shuttle in space, which is not possible. We will cover this in the next lesson, where we talk about lighting, shadows, and reflection.